Hey guys, Video Psych here. Now, this is the next topic that we're talking about. Now, with this topic, though, I do not know where to start. I know so much about this topic. I mean, part I thought because of the fact, with these love dolls, part of the reason why I know people, would have a love doll like this or would try to have somewhat of a, you know, fantasy relationship with one like an idolater is because of control. Now, that's just one example of control. I mean, there's just many types of it. I mean, just like how, our governments, I know, just like my father, are always afraid to lose control. They are so keen on control that they're even are trying to take away our rights to bear arms so that only VIPs can have guns, is what they're trying to do. And that's another example of control. And sometimes I think, why do we, worry so much about losing control so much? And, there's, I would say, a pretty simple answer to that, of course. Because if we are out of control of something, let's say, for instance, you're driving a car. If you go out of control of your car, you're going to get into a wreck, right? If you, let's say, per se, can't control your wife anymore from cheating on you or leaving you, then you get worried. If you can't control your dog from, biting you, then, there's, I don't know what it is about control in human beings, especially. I mean, there's at least an easy answer to why we fear losing control so much. But at the same time, I always think, why do we feel like we have to control everything? Is part of the reason. And why do we feel like we're in control? How do we get a sense of control, etc.? Just questions, complicated questions like that. And it's a lot to ponder on. In fact, it might take me a moment to think about what the hell I'm saying right now, to be frank. I mean, just like, even though I'm really good at pen trolling, obviously, I've been doing it since I was a young teenager. Sometimes I still drop this thing. It's like, if we don't have a sense of control or we are out of control of something, we just fall apart. We get hurt, we get upset, angry, etc. We just, I don't know what it is, our lives just seem to revolve around control a lot. Or maybe it's just me and my family. I don't know. And maybe it's just the government. Yeah, just pondering all these questions my entire life, getting an answer every now and then, or pondering an answer for myself, but it really is just complicated. Complicated, complicated, complicated. I swear. Now, it could be a fetish, it could be something else. I mean, sometimes I just don't know. In some cases, I just don't know. I mean, it certainly seemed to be a bit of a fetish for somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, who felt that in order to control people, he had to kill them. And to further his sense of control on people, he would dismember them, he would tear them apart, and etc. I'm not going to say what else he did because it's a bit graphic. You can look it up yourself, though. But to say the least, he was a bit of a freak on control. That, and he was antisocial. So anyway, moving on from Jeffrey Dahmer. You've probably seen me talk about him before. Interesting character. And with my father, though, I remember, I think a lot of guys, besides my father, when they sometimes get into a certain type of job, they, of course, want to keep that job, right? They want to keep that high end, government job or just high end job in general, career, etc. And so, sometimes when they get into, let's say, a management position, A management position requires control, right? It requires you to, aka control, your employees, at least in a sense. Now, over time, sometimes people worry a lot about the loss of control because of this. And when they're in the workplace all the time like that, it just really starts to get to their heads. You can overwork, by the way. You can overwork. My father doesn't realize this, but you can overwork. And sometimes you do need to sleep. We are human beings after all. I mean, my father might not act like it, but we are human beings. We require sleep. We require a break. We require fun sometimes. That's just how it is. And of course, just because you're older doesn't mean you can't have fun. I mean, come on. It's not like your life just ends just because you get older. I'm not going to be talk like some of the older people that, talk to other kids like they used to talk to me sometimes, like, you better get everything done before you turn this age, blah. You better have fun while you can. Well, I'm still having fun. But anyway. But again, I guess I would also say that's also another sense of control. We are always fearing the loss of control, whether it's the loss of control of our maturity, our age, whether we can walk or not. It just seems to revolve around it so much. I need a drink. Yeah. And, of course, when I have, my love doll, my real doll, and I use her and everything, I get, of course, a sense of control. Because, I know that she won't nag at me. I know that she won't do anything bad to me. I know she won't leave me. And so with her, I get a sense of control. That's obviously not really the only reason why I have a love doll, obviously. That's not the main purpose of it, but, I hate to admit, there have been times when I had a lack of control of something or something bad happened to me. And then so with this doll, I at least get somewhat of a sense of control of my life. You know what I mean? Whereas with a real woman, sometimes that sense of control just goes out the window. And then, of course, you get anxiety. I think also because sometimes men, in particular, not just women, feel like they've lost that sense of control, not just control, but power. They've lost their power because they've lost their control, if that makes any sense. Because if you lose control to human beings, you also lose your power. You lose your stance. You lose your integrity. And then everything almost seems to go out the window, which is why sometimes I think our lives just seem to revolve so much around control sometimes. You know what I mean? You even lose your self-esteem sometimes. It's just, I don't know. Interesting, I guess. But anyway. But of course, if you guys want to talk about this more, I guess I'll just let you put your comments down below and everything. There's probably a little more to talk about, but I'll say that's at least the more important top part of it, I would say, in a nutshell. And I will see you guys in the next video whenever it comes. Bye.